It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live alive.
Hello there, and welcome to the Martinville Raceway Report for April 27th, 2013. It was a great way to start this 2013 season at Martinville Raceway. We had 10 classes in competition, and about 75 karts were entered in those classes. And the good thing about this past Saturday at Martinville, there was a lot of green flag racing. There were some cautions out there, and there were some races that had a lot of cautions in them, but for the most part, there was a lot of green flag racing. And we were glad to have the Northwest Ohio Unlimited All-Stars for the first of 2 visits this year to Martinville Raceway. They were there this past Saturday, and they will also be there joining us on August 31st. So we were definitely glad to have them in attendance. And as far as the racing goes, 2 teams really seemed to stand out this past Saturday. You had the Weaver Performance karts really race well, and you also had the Chafin karts up top as far as the racing goes. So it was nice to see those 2 teams, as far as their karts go, get off to a good start. So it was a great way to start this year at Martinville. It was a great start to 2013, and as we get further into this episode, we'll dig down a little bit deeper into what happened at Martinville this past Saturday. It felt good to finally get back out on the track after about a 6-month absence, obviously as far as fall and winter goes, but it felt good to get back out there, get the engines roaring, and get out racing again. We had 2 rainouts which delayed. I guess Mother Nature didn't want us to get started quite so early this year, so we had a couple of rainouts with weather conditions delay the start of the season, but we finally got out there. And there's been some slight changes to the track this year. It's a little bit bigger, and the banking is a little bit higher. I took a hard look at it this past Saturday, and it kind of reminded me of a mini Toledo Speedway. I went to Toledo one time, and I just kind of compared the two, and they seem to be a lot alike. Now, as far as on track, as far as the karts go, it seemed like in the beginning of the day, the karts were really loose, especially in between turns 3 and 4. There was a lot of spin-outs, especially in those corners, but as the day went on, Paul worked on the track, the drivers worked on the karts, and it really seemed to come in, and the speeds really picked up. Now, it was really odd. For the first time, I've been down to Martinville several times now, and it seemed like for the first time, usually after the second heat, you have an idea who's gonna challenge for the victories in the feature races. But there were a couple classes in particular where the drivers who seem to really be picking it up after the second heat, they kind of faded in the feature. So that means that the drivers were on top of their game. They were making the proper adjustments as far as the karts go, as far as adjusting to the track. And there was a couple feature winners that I didn't exactly anticipate being in victory lane, but they were there. And what was really impressive was there seemed to be very little rust on the drivers as far as picking it up, this being the first race of the new year. It didn't seem like anybody was lost out there. They all knew what they were doing. Even some of the newer drivers, everybody seemed to know what they were doing, and that was real nice to see. So it was nice to get out there. It was nice to watch everybody race. There was a lot of good races out there. There was a lot of passing, especially obviously going into the turns. And it was just really great to get back out there, get a good jump start on this new season. So it was just a great time, great place. I love going to Martinville. I love watching the racing. And this past Saturday did not disappoint at all. One thing I really want to do as far as the Martinville Raceway Report goes is I want to hear from you. Now, we had a couple rainouts to start the year, so I hadn't been able to put an episode out. So what I did was I went on to Bob's and I just kind of threw a couple questions out there. I wanted to see if anybody would respond to the questions that I put out there. And I got a very interesting response from Razor Tech, who is a former veteran on Bob's. Now, the first question I asked was, what are you most looking forward to this racing season outside of actually getting on the track? And this was his response. Warm weather, great people, spending time with the family, and the coolest setting for a racetrack, Martinville. And I couldn't agree more as far as the best track out there being Martinville. And then the second question I asked was, what is your favorite Martinville Raceway memory? And I loved his answer. So just bear with me. It's a long answer, but it is a good answer. And this is what he put. He said, watching my son go around Martinville for the first time in his kart in the novice class. There was only about 4 karts that night, and the first heat he got beat by a pinkish purple kart. When he came off the track, I asked if the kart needed a little tweaking. Now, he had no idea what he was talking about, and Razor Tech had no idea what he was doing, but he asked the question anyway. So they headed back to the trailer, and he asked why that dude, this is the son, he asked why that dude had the kart that color. He was referring to the purplish kart. Now, Razor Tech quickly responded, that dude is a girl that knows how to wheel that kart. Now, he didn't say another word. We tinkered on the kart, drank a pop, started heading up to the grid for the second heat race. We unloaded the kart, and I asked my son why he was so upset. And he responds, that girl's going down. I laughed my butt off, Razor Tech said, and called him a tough guy. He actually went out and won that heat, and he was so proud of his son. But then when they went out for the feature, that girl whooped him good. I thought that was a very good story. It goes along with the theme that I've had several times as far as families go, as far as racing being a family sport, and I love that aspect. I've mentioned before, I love the fact that my father-in-law and my son, they have really built a relationship as far as racing goes. They spend a lot of time together, and as my son grows up, he's going to be able to look back fondly on that special time that he got to spend with his grandfather, and I don't think that's anything that you can ever take away. I remember when my son Brennan first started racing, he was racing novice and he went into purple class. He got to win a lot of races and he was very proud. But what I really liked was watching my father-in-law and my son interact with each other and play off of each other and listen to each other. My son would just, as my father-in-law was helping him, my son would just sit there and listen and take it all in, and then he'd go out on the track and put what he had been taught into practice. And I love that story. It's, you know, fathers and sons. I love stories when it comes to fathers and sons. And I want to hear more from you guys. Anybody who's watching these, anybody who sees my pictures, I want to hear from you. Now, I know this is not professional. This is not a professional job. I'm doing this because, you know what? I love Martinville. I love racing. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I'm a big go-kart fan. And this is my way of putting something back into the sport. I can't drive. Trust me, you wouldn't want me out there. I can't fix up a kart. Whoever drove that kart wouldn't want to drive my kart. But this is something I can do to maybe help promote Martinville go-kart racing in particular. So please, I would love your feedbacks. You can email me, leaper25@hotmail.com. Message me on Bob's. I'm Racer7 Photographer. There's no spaces anywhere. Or if you want, look me up on my Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/JRGphotography3. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear more stories about fathers and sons and racing and Martinville. Whatever you want to just tell me, I'd love to hear. Positive, negative, please take it easy on me. I'm trying here. But I want to hear honest feedback. I want to see honest feedback from anybody who may be watching this. So please, you have my email address, you've got my Bob's handle, and you've got my Facebook page. Message me anytime. I'd love to hear from you. This past Saturday was a great day of racing action at Martinville. Obviously, we started in the sunshine. We ended up in dark. The track changed. Some people made the proper adjustments to their karts. Some people weren't able to keep up with the track. But it was a great night of racing action. And here are some of the results from this past Saturday at Martinville Raceway. In the gold plate class, first place was Zach Newman. Second place was Devin Kime. And third place is Wyatt Lessick. Now, if I happen to butcher anybody's name, just catch me. Give me the proper pronunciation, and I guarantee you within a year or so, I may actually get it right. So I do apologize if I mispronounce anybody's name. In the purple plate class, first place, James Crow. Second place, Austin Black. I look forward to seeing him up front more this year. Third place, David Newman. Fourth place, Summer Colvin. And fifth place, Jacob Kime. In the 50cc class, which I always enjoy watching the 50cc guys out there, first place was Blaine Keckler, and second place was Gain Ernsberger. In the Open Champ class, first place, Jacob Lahan. Second place, Michael Ernsberger. And third place, Jeremy Frayne. In the 400 clone class, first place was Epson Miller. Second place, Shane Cluck, who I also look forward to seeing up front a lot this year. And in third place was David Braggie. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the Northwest Ohio Unlimited All-Stars made the first of 2 appearances at Martinville this way, and they had 5 karts on track, and here's how they placed. First place was Travis Nichols. Second place was Chase Grulich. Third place was Josh Crow. Fourth place, Adam I told you I messed up somebody's name. Fourth place, Adam Unverfurth. And fifth place, Mike Seabuck. In the 305 clone class, which I know well because my son has raced that class several times, first place, Sam Weaver. Second place, Devin Kime. Third place, Corey Mills. Fourth place, Ben Wasson. And in fifth place was Austin Schroeder. In the 360 clone class, which paid $200 to win, not surprising here, in first place was Andrew Weaver. Second place was Epson Miller. Third place, Adam Kozak. Fourth place, Austin Edgell. And fifth place was Alex Hamilton. The 360 flathead class also had extra money to win, $200 to win. And in first place was Kevin Warner. Second place, Adam Kozak. Third place, Jacob Lahan. Fourth place, Jake Doherty. And in fifth place, Tony Myers. And rounding out the classes for this past week was the open flathead class. They also had some extra money to win, $100 to win. And this was probably one of the most interesting features of the night. Richie McIntyre, who had to win the Consi just to make it into the feature, stayed patient from the drop of the green flag. He was on a mission within a couple laps. He was up into the 5th, 4th place range. And this was the one race out there that had a lot of cautions. And through those cautions, some unfortunate luck by some of the competitors in front of him, he came away with the win. So the open flathead class fared as follows. First place was Richie McIntyre. Second place, Travis Nichols. Third place, Travis McIntyre. Now this is the first time in a couple years that he's been on track. So to come back after a couple year layoff and finish in third place, your first race out, that's not bad. Fourth place was Scott Fowler. And fifth place was Chuck May. We look forward to seeing you at Martinville coming up on May 11th. That's the next scheduled point race. And it's just going to get better from here. It was a great time at Martinville this past Saturday. It's just going to get better from here. We still have the Young Guns coming up on June 8th. And over the summer, the karts are going to increase. The racing is going to get even better. It was a great time this past Saturday. And it's just going to continue to get better at Martinville Raceway. So we look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing smiles on your faces. And we look forward to a great season this year at Martinville Raceway.